Pluck up your daughters. We have another week of the show in store for you. I am your lovable yet cheerful and plump host, Harry. I don't know why I had to say plump. It's like I'm fat shaming myself. With me, as always, is Tyson.
Let me talk to you.
And let's get right into it. Tyson, how's your week been?
Good week,
Yeah.
as always. Nothing to complain about. Now, instead of doing all the theatrics for this week, I got a story I want to I want to say.
Okay.
So there was this guy. He uh he meets okay. There's this OnlyFans corn star. She posted this thing on Twitter, and she's like, "Oh, I ran into my number one subscriber," and you know he bumped into her coincidentally.
Right.
And obviously, the first comment under this post was like, "It may have, it may have been a coincidence for you, but I promise it wasn't for him."
Sure. Right.
And they share a screenshot. They're standing next to each other. He's like, taking the picture with her. And then the other screenshot was like how much he spends on her, and he spends like $60,000.
God
Oh, by the
damn.
way, he's only been a subscriber for 1 month. And the internet was like, well, how does this guy spend $60,000 in a month? So they started to dig in on this guy. Turns out he is a crypto millionaire, or he's got money from crypto, and that's how he got his thing. And they dug a little bit deeper. Also, turns out that years ago he was on MTV's show. I'm addicted to corn. So the guy's got history and he's got problems. So that's a funny little story.
Yeah, that's what I want to do when I get rich. I just want to spend it on some e-whore.
That's right.
Oh, there's like some I mean, I don't want to get political or anything, but there's some congressman that he got expelled or some shit, whatever that means. But
Oh, I saw that.
yeah, he spent some of his campaign money on OnlyFans.
Yeah. I mean, the internet failed on that one because they didn't find out, you know, who it was. Unless they have by now. But last I saw, that was my first thing. Well, who was it?
Oh, I just thought it was funny. Well, the only thing I had was I was driving home from the store and I saw this guy, an authentic Santa Claus, with the beard and the suit and shit, and he was driving one of them DUI bikes, those little motorbikes, and he had a cigarette just clenched in between his teeth. It looked like he was going for war. He was probably drunk. That's probably why he was on the DUI bike. But clearly, that's not as interesting as your little OnlyFans story. Did I lose you? I think so. Well, since it's just me, I think we can go ahead and go into Raw. And this is the. Oh, yeah, he's gone. Yep. So December. November, whatever day it was. So right off the bat, Michael Cole tells us the hell froze over because CM Punk is back. And then he also tells us that the first hour is commercial free. I was really curious to see how they would go ahead and tie that all in. And Randy Orton starts us off. And remember Randy Orton? He seems to be overshadowed by CM Punk. And I kind of feel bad for him because he's been out for so long and he gets this nice little return, but then CM Punk comes and that's all we've been talking about. And rightfully so, but got to kind of feel for Orton a little bit. But the crowd cheered for him just as loud as they would, if Punk didn't come back. So he did get his. And there's a nice little moment where Randy autographs a child's toy on his way to the ring. I guess he's the face of the company. And then, so that kind of sets up, I guess, Punk for the heel turn, because we were discussing last week, it kind of doesn't make sense having them both be face. I know in a perfect world, all of them would be faces and they'd all be friends, but as far as wrestling storytelling, somebody's got to be a bad guy, somebody's got to be a good guy. That's just the way it is. So, kind of looks like they're setting up Orton for the heel, or I'm sorry, for the face, and then Punk. If anything, he's going to be a tweener, I'd say, and that's how he works best. He's not, although, well, we'll get to it later. So Orton says through all his accolades he's achieved, he's never competed in a War Games match. So when Cody called, it was a no-brainer. And it also doesn't hurt to be a part of a match Dusty Rhodes created, which they all, of course, gave Dusty his props because he was highly respected in the W. He was like, excuse me, he's like the new Ric Flair. Remember, Ric Flair was kind of, well, I don't know if you remember or not, but when I was watching wrestling as a kid, Ric Flair was kind of a joke. He was losing all the time in WCW. He would, elbow drop his coat. Like, the seriousness of Ric Flair was not emphasized in my day. And then he went to the WWE for a while. He was still kind of a joke. And then one day, Triple H just decided that he's a superstar. Now, I guess history would say that he is, but in terms of how he was presented in, I'd say, the late 90s, early 2000s, he was a joke. So then he turns into a legend. Well, then, he leaves the WWE and Ric Flair is what he is. So I think Dusty Rhodes has taken the Ric Flair spot in terms of who the legend is. Orton says while he created the moment, he's got unfinished business with the bloodline. Orton acknowledges that he himself has made a career of hurting guys, sometimes permanently, but while he can forgive, he's not going to forget. Orton says that he's going to RKO every single member of the bloodline. And then, can't have a Monday Night Raw opener without the Judgment Day. So Ripley interrupts. And she says that Randy does favors for others, teams for people who try to end his career, and he had his return upstaged. Then she does her bland bloodline have fallen, Judgment Day has risen, nasally fucking shit. And then Ripley says War Games was just a bump in the road, and they're still dripping with the lesser titles WWE couldn't give two fucks about. If it wasn't for Orton, Priest would be your World Heavyweight Champion. So I don't see how it's a brag having the tag team titles at this point. And the North America, you have an NXT title, and Ripley's basically the only one in her division right now on Raw. So I don't see it being much of an accolade having all those belts, but that's just me. I'm sure Tyson would agree with me if he was here. So Ripley says that Randy, he's come back, but since he's come back, he's already made some enemies that can make his life a living nightmare. Orton needs to stop worrying about the bloodline because the Judgment Day actually gets the job done. Then the crowd starts yelling for Randy to RKO Ripley, which I thought was funny. And that kind of restored my faith in wrestling crowds. But then Randy says he's been gone, but he's been keeping up with the show, and all he hears is Rhea this and mommy. Well, guess what? Daddy's back. Then Randy says a lot of things have changed when I was away, but one thing that won't ever change is that no one will tell Randy Orton what to do. So Ripley starts laughing. Oh, you've made your bed. So then Dominic and McTurd attack Orton from behind. And, the little kids start feebly punching Orton. Then Orton RKO's McTurd, who's also wearing a neck brace. And Orton then tells Dominic not to go too far because they're wrestling later on tonight. And of course, Orton comes back and is immediately inserted into Judgment Day. And yay. But I guess it's a good thing that he's going to, we'll talk about it. So Jay apologized to Orton backstage. They said they're cool. And yep. So we got Randy and Dominic later on tonight. I am so excited. So then we had a Alpha Academy segment. I guess Tozawa and Otis are a tag team now. And then Loch Ness from Uncensored 96 makes an appearance. And I stopped caring. And I think that goes Gable's chances of being even close to the top of the card. He's dancing with Ruffles and Tozawa, and you got Loch Ness, all gross looking. It's not a good look. And we had high hopes. Cody pimped the Cyber Monday for the WWE merchandise on the WWEshop.com. And I just want to take that as an opportunity to let you all know that we're affiliates. So don't forget to use that WWE affiliate link. It will be in the description or our bio, or it'll be somewhere for you. And if you're looking to do some Christmas shopping for that wrestling fan in your life, there you go. So there's a fucking tag team match that I skipped. Loch Ness was at ringside. And yeah, there was an 80-year-old midget and the Creed brothers. They won. I don't care. So then we have Rhea Ripley and Dominic backstage in the Judgment Day clubhouse. Balor comes in to say that he's all scared of the Creed brothers and their midget. Then Priest does this shit where he thinks that everyone's pissed off at him for being the leader while they lost at War Games, instead of laying into Ripley for not staying in the back and making a fucking sandwich while men handle men things. Like, she stuck her fucking nose in everything. She recruited Drew McIntyre. She tried to get Seth and all these other people recruited in the Judgment Day. Didn't work. Drew McIntyre didn't work. All she did was put uncertainty into the team, and everything backfired. But Priest didn't stand his ground. Instead, he bent over like a little bitch and let this fucking hole just walk all over him and manipulate him. And it's sad. It's pathetic. So while Priest is done whining, Ripley says that they're family. They can rise and fall together. No matter how many times Priest wants to make himself the leader, they won't hold a grudge. And again, instead of, shutting Ripley up by putting a dick in her mouth, Priest just looks for the group's approval. And he should have shut that shit down real quick. He didn't make himself the leader. She made him the leader. But whatever. If he ain't going to stick up for himself, I ain't. So then Balor and Priest, they go checking on McTurd and medical. And then Ripley sneers as Priest walks away, signaling that there is dissension among the Judgment Day. Up next, we have Cody Rhodes. Cody comes out. He thanks Sammy, Jay, Seth, and Randy for helping him win the War Games match. And it was an honor winning his dad's match. He also specifically thanked Randy for allowing him, Cody, to secure the victory. Cody also welcomes back Punk. He also wants to make some news for himself and declares himself to be in the Royal Rumble, which, duh. Then the lights go out, and Cody looks all confused. And Shinsuke fucking Nakamura interrupts with a video. Nakamura says that you need to continue your story, but I need you to set me free. I was patient waiting for you to respond to my vague videos over the weeks, but now I'm done waiting, Cody. Nakamura says that he's going to bring chaos. Then the lights come back on, and Nakamura is waiting right behind Cody. Cody turns around, and Shinsuke just blasts him in the face with this red mist. And I thought it kind of would have been funny if he sold it like Bel Air, just screaming at the top of his lungs, like ah. She sells the mist the best. So then Nakamura bows while Cody crawls around feebly, and that's the end of that segment. Then we have Bronson Reed versus the Geek Squad. And the Geek Squad being Ivar from the Viking Raiders with his deer. And this was actually as hard-hitting as you would expect. I thought Reed looked really dumb for getting distracted by someone smaller than the referee. But, eventually the deer got booted from ringside. Then both dudes immediately go outside for the double count out. So kind of made no sense that they would have the deer go away if they're just going to do the count out. So then Reed DVD'd Death Valley Driver to Ivar through the ring announcer barricade, and then they just fight in the stands, and they have to be separated, and they make mean faces at each other. So more of this to look forward to. It wasn't bad, just kind of bleh. Next, we have Zoe and Shayna backstage, and Zoe says she almost had Rhea. And then Nia Jax came, and I skipped it. Judgment Day yelled at R-Truth later in the backstage. He was eating on their couch. And then McTurd said he's going to handle R-Truth. Can't wait to skip the R-Truth McTurd match. And there was Nia Jax and Zoe Stark. Nia should just stop using the bonsai drop. Like, did you see it? She did the bonsai drop, and then instead of pinning in a traditional fashion where you just you sit on their chest, so that's the pin. But no, this dumb bitch just gets off, rolls over, and hooks the leg. Makes no sense. She doesn't know how to use it. If she's not legitimately trying to squash some implants, she's doing that roll up shit, and it's stupid. She needs to go away. Imperium had a thing. Kaiser and Vinci were yelling at each other. Gunther wants them to sort out the DIY issue because they've the last 5 weeks they haven't been able to do so. Vinci starts to say he'll take care of it, but Kaiser shuts him down. He says no, he'll take care of it. Then the Miz comes out of nowhere and he says he wants another match with Gunther. Gunther laughs at him and says, Miz, you're not a threat, but congratulations for standing up for yourself and preparing for a fight and showing that you belong in the ring. Just not with me. So, I know everybody liked everybody that I listen to or associate with, they seem to like this match. I'm not excited for Gunther Miz 2. At least Gunther won't lose. I mean, that's the only comfort we have there. So Seth Rollins came out, and I skipped what he had to say. Then McIntyre came out. He shakes Rollins' hand for winning the War Games match. And he says that Judgment Day promised Jey Uso on a silver platter. And that's not what happened. Instead, they lost. But McIntyre's putting Jey in the back burner. And he's focusing on what's most important right now. And that's Rollins' belt. McIntyre said his weakness in his last match was compassion. And that's not going to happen ever again. And he wants the goddamn match now. Seth agrees and says, Drew, you do deserve a rematch, but there's a couple people that deserve a shot more than you do right now. Says that he's actually out here to announce that he's defending the belt next week. Well, McIntyre wants to know who. Seth actually kind of played it perfectly, like, this ain't gonna end well. So he says, yeah, it's Jey Uso. So then McIntyre headbutts the fuck out of Rollins. Like his forehead was bleeding and shit. I don't know what Rollins looked like, but I don't even know what happened, like what he hit, or maybe it was fake. Who knows? And then he starts beating Rollins' ass. And then McIntyre says he beat Jey 2 weeks ago, and he's ahead in line, which is, a good point. He did beat Jey 2 weeks ago, so theoretically he should be ahead of him in the World Heavyweight Championship line. But on the other hand, Seth Rollins does, I think his choosing the person that he's going to defend the belt against, I think that supersedes the quote unquote line. I think the champion earns the right to handpick a challenger. So as McIntyre is beating Rollins up, Jey comes out and he does his little rock punches to McIntyre, and then Rollins and Jey super kick him. And later, Sammy yells at McIntyre backstage, says, "You're better than that." McIntyre's like, "Yeah, you know what? I need to start working on some things, and I'm going to ask Pierce for a match next week with you." So we got McIntyre and Sammy again. Lovely. I skipped the Piggy Niven and the other bitches. I did notice that they did the champion introductions for Piggy and the other one. Those are the same introductions that they didn't do for all of War Games. So glad that they made the pay-per-view seem special. I have Becky Lynch is an ugly, boring twat. I assume she had a promo or a match or something. Whatever. And then we have Dominic versus Randy Orton. Orton, he won with an RKO. Loch Ness helped him win. And that was pretty much that. It was a showcase of Randy Orton's moves. Dominic tried to be a weasel. I think McTurd tried to help. Probably. Somebody tried to help Dominic, but that didn't work. So Orton won. And finally, the main event of the evening, quote unquote, is CM Punk coming out all by his lonesome. He's got a new shirt. It's basically the Chicago flag with his little lightning bolt fist, but it's blue. So it's hip and refresh and rejuvenated. Coincidentally, Punk came in and is basically immediately the number one merchandise seller. I think he's got 3 categories: youth, women's, and men's. So that's the top 3 categories, and then LA Knight and Jey Uso are next in the men's category. So that's according to Wrestle Features, whoever the fuck that is. But yeah, his new T-shirt is the top 3 best-selling T-shirts, and that's on the WWE shop right now. And again, we're affiliated, so if you want to help keep Punk in the 1, 2, 3 spot, go ahead and use our our affiliate link. Get that wrestling fan in your life a CM Punk shirt. I love it. So CM Punk comes out and he repeats the line, "Hell's frozen over." And he says he's home. And it's scary how true those words are. And he feels like his old self. And this is where he belongs. And you people have not forgotten me in over 10 years. You have not stopped chanting my name. And everyone's welcomed me back with open arms. Well, almost everyone. But they're afraid of the truth. Then he starts talking about how people are scared, that he set the bar too high. And he has the brass ring in his pocket. And then his promo cut off for me. So I had to go search other means. So I had to go out of my way to find out the rest of the promo was just for him to say that CM Punk's back. Now he did say, he rose the bar too high. He's the best the best in the world. Hasn't been here for 10 years. I mean, it was a good promo. It's just, I don't know. I wanted a little bit more bite. He's been gone for a while. Like happy CM, it's like happy Billy Ray Cyrus. It just doesn't work. You need angry CM Punk. You need a CM Punk one with the chip on his shoulder. The CM Punk with the machine behind him. I don't know if it's gonna have the same oomph. I need the rebel with the rebel without a cause CM Punk. But at the end of the night, he did say he's not there to make friends. He's there to make money. So we're gonna see how that goes. Now, I'm sure a lot of people were expecting him to say some shit about AEW, but realistically, that wasn't going to happen. I mean, maybe he could have made some real threats, but I could see Tony, since he's a dickless wonder that has to have everybody sign an NDA to work for him, he would probably sue. Like they even hint at a breach in that NDA. So I don't blame Punk for not bringing them up. And why would you? He's in bigger and better pastures right now. Let AEW waller in mediocrity. That's what I say. Well, that is all of Monday Night Raw. We breezed right through that, and feels weird just giving my opinion, or at least a recap. And this is a good idea or a good opportunity, or usually the opportunity we take to let you know that we are on Twitter, Show Podcast 7. We're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. However you want to listen to us, if you want to listen to us, just follow along for some wrestling news content, just some general chit chat. That's what we got. Again, we got a affiliate link for the www.shot.com. I think that's the last time I'm going to go ahead and say that. But yeah, Tyson does a whole lot better as far as the commercial, but he ain't here. So it's just me. With that being said, let's move on to Friday Night SmackDown. SmackDown starts with Bianca Belair, who was really wearing that red outfit. Now, Bianca's not really my flavor of ice cream, quote unquote, but tonight I would put her on my cone and lick away. But I did skip all what she had to say. I'm not stupid. I did stop at where she called out Io Sky. So Damage Control interrupts her with Io's music, I might add. One of the best musics in the WWE right now. And it's Asuka, Dakota, Io, and my future ex-wife, Kairi Sane, and all of her tastiness. Ooh, Kairi, you're tasty. And I like that Asuka's playing a heel without wearing the fucking clown suits and shit. I don't know, just the cutoff shirt. She looks human and normal. It's like a refreshed look without doing anything. I appreciate it. So Dakota says Io says Bianca is out of her goddamn mind because she already beat Bianca twice, she being Io. And if Bianca wants yet another title shot, she needs to go through all of Damage Control. And of course, Belair is all about that life. But, the title was mentioned. So out comes Charlotte and fucking Shotzi. So Charlotte ran her Andrade pleaser. There's a brawl. I'm sure there's a match that was set up. I skipped it. Not the match. Well, I'm sure I skipped the match too. But as soon as Shotzi came out, I wasn't interested. Oh, yeah. They announced Kairi versus Bianca. That was during the finger bang and Bobby Lashley match. We'll talk about that. So Bianca calls out Io. Io responds and gives her a stipulation. Bianca's friends come out, bringing the attractiveness scale from like a 10 to a 4 because it's, Shotzi and Charlotte. Then Bianca and her ugly friends attack the people responding to the challenge. So I don't understand how damage control's in the wrong here. But that's WWE logic for you. So later, Damage Control is pissed off at Bayley for not being there, but Bayley says that no one told her to be out there. Then Dakota said that Kari would really appreciate her help against Bianca. And Kari says something bitchy sounding in she says something bitchy sounding in Japanese, which I thought was funny. Then next up we have Mouthpiece McFingerbang versus Bobby Lashley. And is this really the best use the WWE can have with Bobby Lashley? I think this is a waste. But I wish that they would have. I want the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley to be a faction. I want them to have the same theme music. I think Bobby Lashley needs to drop his theme right now. Adopt the Street Profits, and he needs to do the drums, the dun 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 dun, and then it needs to go in the Street Profits little Jeezy music. That'd be so fucking awesome. Especially like if they all come out together instead of, Bobby just sitting in the back drinking Kool-Aid waiting for some bitch to approach him. Just my thoughts. You with us?
I think so.
All
Maybe.
right.
I'm on a hotspot, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
But I gotta talk to you, so we're gonna roll off this hotspot.
All right. Did you were you paying attention to anything?
No, my internet was completely down, so I
right.
didn't get any of it.
Well,
but I heard you were talking about Lashley. You're already on SmackDown?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You want to? Well, so Monday Night Raw starts with
no,
Cole's.
Go. I don't
Are you sure?
Don't stop on my behalf.
All right. Hey, well, what do you have to say about Punk's return?
Yes, because that is really the only important thing.
Yeah.
I thought the promo. Yes, I know. Last week I said, "Oh, he's gonna go out there and drop a pipe bomb, and do all this, that, and the other. It's gonna be some good Punk. We're gonna disrupt the system and all this." But given what we got, it does make sense that he really didn't go out there and say anything to blur any lines.
Well, what I said is because Tony Khan's a dickless wonder and has everybody sign NDAs, I wouldn't be surprised if he can't say anything because of said NDAs. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tony's the kind of person that would sue at the even slightest whiff of somebody breaching those NDAs.
Well, I'm sure that's all true, but Punk, WWE never really does mention, like on TV, they never mention AEW. So why mention them now?
That's another point. I mean, I think Punk bringing up AEW, that only helps AEW, I think, at this point. the best revenge that Punk can do right now is living well. Because remember, the Young Bucks did their little stupid ass victory lap when Punk left.
They did. Serves them right. Now look at them.
Right. But yeah,
I don't think there was too much. I think as a fan base, we probably got too overhyped for it. We were waiting for something. We fantasized it in our head. oh, he's
True.
gonna burn the system down.
Well,
But this was his first night back, so
I didn't expect him to grab the microphone and say, "Whoa, those motherfucking young bucks! What now, bitches?" I didn't expect that. But I don't know. I didn't expect also that him to be like corporate punk. You know what I mean?
PG Punk.
He kind of reminds me of Austin when he sided with McMahon.
That's true.
And I know it's
Maybe
like we only saw him for 20 minutes, maybe less than that, less than 10 minutes. So I think it's kind of unfair to compare it to Austin and McMahon at this point. But it's just the having the machine behind him. Punk needs to have like a chip on his shoulder. He needs to have something to rebel against. He can't be he can't be corporate Punk. I
I
love you
think it's a
guys.
slow burn.
We'll see. I mean, he did say that he's there to make money and not friends. I mean, there was that shade of, and he had a great promo as far as, you know, the best. Everybody's saying, or people are here to be the best in the world, but the best in the world hasn't been here for 10 years.
True.
Everybody's trying to be the best in the world here, but I'm here. So now they got to wake up to realize that's a lie. All that shit. I mean, it was a great promo. He does what he does.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have more to come.
Yeah. Just be
We
patient.
got a long way to go before him and Seth Rollins. Did you talk about the Seth Rollins thing? You probably skipped it, didn't you?
I skipped Seth Rollins talking. I talked about McIntyre throwing a fit.
Well,
You
Seth
want to just go
Rollins,
over Raw? You want to just start over?
you breezed over it.
Okay,
No,
let's just
we're
start.
not
No,
there.
no, no. Let's just start over. Fuck it.
No, we're just gonna. I just want to talk about the Seth Rollins thing because it was important to the whole story.
Randy Orton came out though. You want to talk about that?
Let him be.
Randy Orton. Randy Orton's first day.
No, it was a disappointment too.
Okay. Well, Alpha Academy. What about them?
No, we're just gonna talk about Seth Rollins. So
You saw Alpha Academy in Loch Ness though, right?
Loch Ness.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
The guy from
Piper
WCW.
Niven.
No, Alpha. The thing with the tattoos on his face.
Oh, yeah, I did.
And Cody pimped the Cyber Monday for WWE merch. We have an affiliate link. I pimped that a couple times. You'd be proud of me.
There you go.
There was a tag match I skipped. Oh, the Creed brothers won. Fuck them.
It was a gauntlet match. They won it, or they call it tag team turmoil now.
Yeah, I don't want to see the same old tag teams. But the Creed brothers, come on.
They're getting a push.
They don't deserve it.
Well, some people like them.
Where is In the Share? Where's Unholy
They were
Union?
in that.
What?
They were in the gauntlet or the tag team turmoil, and they got beat by Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa in 2 minutes by a roll up. Yeah.
You're joking.
Nope. Well, maybe it was more than 2 minutes. They got a little bit of offense in, and then Veer got rolled up by Tommaso Ciampa.
God damn it.
Or maybe it was Johnny Gargano. I don't know. But people just glossed over that. Oh, they beat into share. No, they beat into share. That's a big deal.
That's so fucking stupid. For these fucking cornflake eating motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Little
Big old Veer getting rolled
pasty inbred pieces of shit with their little 80-year-old midget. Fuck them. I hope their plane crashes on their next way to the next city.
Oh my.
Into Share so much better. God.
They are. And they looked dominant for that 2 minutes that they were in there before they got rolled up.
Why did Indusher have to be in that match?
I guess it was every tag team on the roster for Raw.
So Indusher, they've been gone for months. They come back once, and they're in a stupid ass meaningless gauntlet match for 2 minutes and lose to fucking Johnny Gargano.
By a roll up.
I hope he's on the same plane as the Creed brothers.
Well,
that's stupid.
I guess they had to do it.
No, they didn't. They didn't have to do it.
I mean,
that's Creed,
the Indusher wasn't going to, win the tournament. So it was either that or lose to the Creeds.
They didn't have to be in it. Why are you going to build? See, that's what I don't understand. You had them on an undefeated streak. You had them all dominant, and then they just disappeared. You had the little fucking vignettes for them. Now they're back in a fucking gauntlet match with who else was in it? DIY, Imperium. They're losers too.
And then
the Creed
the
brothers.
New Day and the Creed.
New Day. Yeah, okay, great. Come on. Indusher is miles above all of those teams put together. Just a waste.
They just wanted a throwaway match, I guess.
That's fucking white privilege.
There you go.
Fucking Creed brothers. Not in my rate.
Well, the Seth promo.
Well, what about Shinsuke and Cody?
I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I'm okay with the feud, but obviously we know who's winning it. So what does that say for Shinsuke?
Do you think he's gonna? It's weird though, because when's he gonna? Is it gonna be at Royal Rumble?
I think it's gonna be before, seeing as Cody has announced himself for the Royal Rumble.
Duh.
But it could be like, I don't know, maybe an undercard match. I don't know if they do it now where, you have a match and then you're in the Rumble still.
I hate that.
Because they used to do that all the time. Now, I don't know if they still do that.
I don't know if they do.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the last time it actually happened.
I think like the unimportant people do.
I think Roman Reigns did it that year. He wrestled Baron Corbin. I'm thinking that was the last time it happened.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know what to think of it either. It's kind of weird. And
I'm sure it'll be a good feud, but
it'll be good matches.
He's not winning it.
No. Well, it depends on how many times he's not winning the feud. No.
I don't think he's winning a match either. I don't think Cody's losing.
If they wrestle more than once.
Well, I don't think Cody's losing before before WrestleMania. I think between now and WrestleMania, he will not be pinned.
I don't think they give a shit about that. Clearly, Indusher.
Unless they've given up on
Indusher.
Yeah.
Stupid. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I've been thinking like all week, oh man, what do I having to carry on Cross? Well, he might as well just ask for his release. Then he comes back. Well, he's coming back.
He ain't gonna get rolled up, I'll tell you that. But he ain't winning either.
No. Okay, yeah. Seth Rollins.
So, the only part of the promo that is worth noting, which is why I wanted to go back, is so Seth Rollins, he comes out there, he's doing his little dance thing. crowd starts doing the whoa, but then slowly it turns into chants, chants of CM Punk. Because remember, at War Games he had that little fit,
Yeah.
so the chant started to turn to CM Punk. Seth Rollins, he's like, "Come on, come on." He's egging it on. He's saying, "Is that the best you got, CM Punk fans? Is that all you got?" And then after he let it go on for a while, he's like, "I hope you got it out of your system because that's the last time I ever want to talk about that hypocrite again." And that pretty much solidifies that we're getting a Punk versus Rollins match.
Now, apparently the match that everyone wants to see is Punk and Austin.
Yeah, I saw that floating around that might be a WrestleMania match.
Mm-hmm. Now, according to Meltzer, WWE hasn't reached out to Austin to discuss the match, which probably means that they booked it 4 years ago.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what kind of match we're getting. Is it going to be like what he did with Kevin Owens? I don't want to see, Austin thinking he's doing a real wrestling match.
Austin never did wrestling matches. Well, Austin was a brawler.
I know, but
You never.
Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, you can consider those real wrestling matches. The Rock.
They were Brett. Brett did the wrestling. Austin did the ass kicking. Like, you're not going to see any drop toe holds and fucking enziguris from Austin. He's just going to punch your ass and stomp a mud hole in it. He might do a fucking snapmare. Not a snapmare. Yeah, snapmare.
Yeah, see, I'm not trying to see all that snap suplexes and
No,
I'm not trying to see all that.
I won't even say that.
Going to the second rope and doing the elbow thing.
He might do that.
Did he do that against Kevin Owens? I don't remember.
But
Can
I could
he
see him
do
do
that?
Yeah, it's an elbow drop.
I know,
He's
but
not
it's
lifting
from
Punk,
the
and he's
second
not
rope.
doing moonsaults or shooting star presses or doing, I think it's believable that he could throw a punch and a kick. And he grabbed him by the head and tossed him over his shoulder. Just the way Austin worked, I think he's his ring style is safe for him.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if that would be even a match to see. I mean, when we can be getting, I guess it's that dream match that, okay, they're both here. Now we can check that box off.
I think for the promos, it'd be worth it.
Yeah, that would be good. Why don't he just go on Stone Cold's podcast? That's probably more interesting at this point.
He might. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Now that's must see. Now, is Punk going to say anything in that 1 hour podcast, though?
I mean, I think he'd say stuff. I don't think he would say what you want him to say.
He'll say what they tell him he can say.
Yeah.
He also, by the way, he does have, well, this is the report. He does have a behavior clause in his contract, whatever that even means. Basically, you do what you're told, boy. That's basically what it means.
Yeah, that or it's a standard thing.
Could be, but and it could also just be like, I don't know, smoke and mirrors.
That too.
They're just saying that he has a behavior clause.
Oh, to make it seem like he's dangerous,
or to make it seem like, I don't know. I don't know. They probably had a deep conversation. We already know, hey, you're not coming out here and acting out. And if you do, it's going to be consequences. That's number one. Number two, who's he going to act out against? He ain't going to be choking out Triple H. I can guarantee
Bobby
you that.
Lashley. Oh, you
Yeah,
could take Triple H.
he's not choking out Bobby Lashley. He's not choking out Brock Lesnar. Drew
Brock,
McIntyre, he ain't choking out him.
does Brock even work there anymore?
Cody. Yeah.
He could choke out
He's
McTurd.
He's about to be coming back too.
Oh, there you go. Let him choke out McTurd.
Go all the way over there. I don't know, Dominic Prison Dom. I don't know if you're choking him out.
CM Punk will whoop his ass.
We've seen him. What about whooping anybody?
Yeah, he take on Dominic. What would you think? What did you think about McIntyre's temper tantrum?
I think it was well done. The fact that he was like, okay, he was being a nice guy. Okay, I get it. I have to start from the bottom, and I will. Oh, but just out of curiosity, who was your opponent? And then it's the one guy that ticked him off. Would have ticked him off the most.
I thought Seth played it perfectly too, because he hesitated. He's like, "Oh, this ain't gonna end well."
Yeah, and he's like, "All right, I'll tell you." And then McIntyre had the best point of all. He said, "I just beat him 2 weeks ago."
Right? Yeah, I said that. That's not a lie. Now, I do think that Seth Rollins being the champion, I think his handpicking an opponent, I think that supersedes the line. I think as a champion, you should be able to select your opponent.
Yeah, if you pick someone, then there you go.
But either way, I mean, I don't know why McIntyre's mad. You'd either have a match with Seth next or with Jay.
Well, because he just thought Seth Rollins was trying to fuck with him. Out of all the people, you pick this one guy. The one guy, first of all, I beat him. Second of all, it's the one guy that I have a vendetta against.
When he's wrestling Sammy again.
Yes. He's going to beat Sammy down.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the gist of Raw.
Yeah, just a couple things I wanted to touch on.
All right.
For the clips.
Yes. Sure.
Gotta get them clips out, man.
Well, good luck finding them.
By the way, like and subscribe. And you said you did all the chilling earlier, so that's it.
Yeah, I tried to.
Let's do a little quick roll call, though. What is up Twitch side? What is up YouTube side? And audio listeners, what is up? You're not listening live, obviously, but when this gets uploaded, what's up on the audio side? And TikTok, what's up? I sound like R-Truth and start singing, "What's up?"
Well, we might as well start over SmackDown. Bianca Belair, who was really wearing that red outfit, came out. And I still skipped what she had to say, except the part where she called out Io. Then Damage Control, they come out with Io's music. Best theme music in Raw. Or WWE. Asuka, Dakota, Io, and my future ex-wife, Kairi Sane, and all of her tastiness come out. And no Bailey.
And Dakota Kai was there as well.
I did say Dakota.
I know, we just kind of breezed over her. I think she needs a little bit more spotlight.
No, there's only one spotlight, and that's for my tasty Kairi. And I said that I liked Asuka playing a heel without wearing the funky ass clothes. Like she looks normal. Just the cutoff
She
shirt and
does, yeah.
it's just I don't know. It's subtle, but it's like a refresh without doing anything.
Yeah. Now they're slow building this whole Bailey turn thing,
Yeah.
or kicking Bailey out of the group. But there's one little detail I want everybody to pay attention to, and that is when Eo's hair turns purple, because everybody else has purple hair except for her and Bailey. When her hair turns purple, watch out.
All right.
Just a little detail no one's pointed out, so I wanted to get that out there.
Dakota says the EO says Bianca is out of her goddamn mind because she already beat Bianca twice. And if Bianca wants yet another title shot, she needs to go through all of Damage Control. And of course, Belair is all about that life. But the title is mentioned, so out comes Charlotte and fucking Shotzi. Charlotte runs her Andrade pleaser, and there's a brawl. And I'm sure there's a match set up or will be set up later. And they announced Kari versus Bianca during the finger bang Lashley match. So Bianca calls out Io. Io responds and gives her a stipulation. Bianca's friends come out, bringing the attractive scale from 10 to 4. And then Bianca and her ugly friends attack the people responding to the challenge in the first place. So I don't see where Damage Control is in the wrong here.
Well, first of all, I think Shotzi is moving into like the brown bag status. Just say that. You get put the brown bag over her head, and then from the neck down,
What if she does
or at
that?
least this week.
What if she does that thing where she swings her head back and forth?
Or Cody's old gimmick, put the bag on your head. That's
Yeah.
where she needs to be.
All right. Not Kari. She's tasty.
And Dakota Kai was there, by the way.
Yeah. So later, Damage Control's pissed off at Bailey for not being out there, but Bailey's like, no one told her. But Dakota said, you know what? Kari is facing Bianca later tonight, and she would really appreciate your help against her. And then Kari says something bitchy sounding in Japanese. And then this is where you interrupted me. We're at Mouthpiece McFingerbang versus Bobby Lashley. And is this really the best use of Bobby Lashley?
Apparently, did you hear his reaction he was getting?
Well, that's Bobby. I mean, do you really need Bobby Lashley wrestling Mouthpiece McFingerbang?
This was a showcase for Bobby.
I guess.
It's a modern day squash match, which means the other person gets some offense.
Yeah. Way too much offense. But did you see his drums? His din, 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 din. When they debuted the Street Profits' new rap song, they did the Lashley drums before that. So it's the I wish they kept that. I wish that they would just change his. They all need to have the same theme song, and I just want that because it's awesome. That is if Bobby Lashley actually wants to come out with the Street Profits instead of sitting in the back waiting for some bitches to approach him in his Kool-Aid. So,
well, when they have a tag team match, he could have went out there by himself.
He could have. He should have. I don't know why the Street Profits even bothered with him. He ain't coming out with her help him or help them.
Yeah, he should show them that, hey, do this on your own.
They should be sipping some Kool-Aid, not out of solo cups.
Out of regular cups.
Out of regular fucking cups. So Ford, he needs to take those red pants and then burn them and then tie the ashes to a brick and then toss that brick into the middle of the deepest part of the ocean. Bobby tells McFingerbang before the match that when he said to make a name for yourself, he didn't mean with me. And the crowd, they started chanting Bobby really loud. He said, that's a name. Perfect. McFingerbangs slaps Lashley. Lashley smiles and tells the ref to ring the bell. And then Bobby Lashley stops smiling. And the crowd chants, let's go Bobby, while he tears McFingerbang a new asshole. And Lashley wins with a spear, of course. And McFingerbang got way too much offense. And later on in the backstage, McFingerbangs and Pretty Deadly did some shit that I skipped.
Basically, someone was in. I forgot who it was, but she was doing Kayla Braxton. She was doing the interview with Butch. She's doing the interview with Butch, and she's like, "What happened with Ridge Holland last week?" And Butch was saying, "I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on myself." And then, yeah, in walks Pretty Deadly, and they jump him, and they tell him he's all alone. Like you got no help. No one's watching your back. You're done. That was pretty much the segment. So it was more so just to show that Butch, Pete Dunne, maybe, is all on his own. He has no friends to watch his back.
Good.
Now, is this like a story arc of him? See, he wasn't even the lone wolf. That was Baron Corbin. But maybe this is a story arc going back to the Bruiserweight. I don't know.
I don't care.
But when they, they're they're rebuilding that cruiserweight division slowly but surely. So he'll be a good addition to the cruiserweight division.
Okay. So Paul Heyman and Nick Aldis had a backstage interaction. Heyman comes in and starts fiddling around with the shit around Aldis's desk. Of course, he makes sure to point out the NFL title that's strategically placed behind Aldis.
Yeah, they got to pimp it. Every city.
Yeah. Then Heyman goes, did you invite Orton to SmackDown? And Aldis says, well, yes, I did. And actually, I want to sign him over here. And Heyman asks, does Roman know about this? And Alden's like, come on, Paul. You know that all communications to Roman are supposed to go through you. So consider this the communication. Then Aldis says he's getting Orton on SmackDown even if he has to offer the entire bloodline. And he says the only thing that you need to work, or wait. The only thing that's left, Paul, is what are you going to do about it? And Paul smiled, which was fucking terrifying. And then he composes himself and he goes, whatever it takes. And I think Aldis may have done fucked up.
Yeah, he was getting a little too big for his britches.
Just a bit.
But, he got checked.
That smile. Perfect, Heyman. So we have Escobar versus Joaquin Phoenix. Escobar was interviewed before the match, and I was too distracted by how Escobar kept saying Catalina over and over again. So I didn't really get what he said. Did I miss anything?
Not really.
Okay.
Same old stuff.
He kept saying Catalina, Catalina, but Catalina.
He kept talking about how, pretty much what I was saying. They were supposed to be rebuilding the LWO, but Rey Mysterio, he kept bringing people in. Carlito, Dragon Lee, pretty much all the stuff. Justified heel turn.
Gotcha. So Escobar wins with,
but Michael Cole's like, he's delusional.
Escobar wins with a Phantom Driver and then starts beating the shit out of Phoenix after the match. And Dragon Lee came out, and I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, he came out for the save, but he just got beat.
I know. So Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, where they were backstage, and Pearce wants to know if Aldis is trying to sign a Monday Night Raw legend under his nose. And Aldis says, yes, I am. And Pearce says he's bringing his own contract. And next I have a picture of a guy getting kicked in the balls.
Okay. I don't know what that's in reference to.
I don't either. That's just my note. Next I have Kari. She lost to Bianca Belair.
Oh, Logan Paul. That was the segment? Yes.
Oh.
So
yeah, that explains it.
Okay. So essentially, or what yeah, basically Logan Paul, he's United States champion. He comes out there and he talks about how, his next challenger, we need to find his next challenger. And he announces that there's going to be a tournament. The tournament's going to include, I didn't write everybody down, but I got Santos Escobar, Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, Karrion Kross, who's going to get buried, Dragon Lee, and then a mystery NXT person.
Oh boy.
Who we would expect would be, I mean, the list is short, so you either got Braun Breaker, you got Von Wagner. Some people are saying Carmelo Hayes could be an option. I don't know where he's at on the roster, like if he's ready to move up. I think that's about it. Maybe Tyler Bate could also be an option there. I would say if I'm picking, it would be Braun Breaker. Or like I don't know much about Von Wagner. I don't know, like I haven't watched him in a while, so I don't know how ready he is. But I would say, yeah, Braun Breaker should be the shoe in there. But there are some names in there, Santos Escobar, who, they got him in a tournament. He just turned heel. So why would he lose so early? I guess you're going to have to do a distraction.
It's going to be Kevin Owens and Logan Paul.
It is. I was going to get there, but yeah. I was just saying, Santos Escobar, he just turned heel, so, they're going to have to find a creative way to get him out of the tournament. And Dragon Lee, he's a loser. Karrion Kross, he's a loser. So we're probably looking at Lashley versus Kevin Owens. Oh, yeah, by the way, Lashley, I don't think he should be losing either. But, yeah, we'll be Kevin Owens versus Lashley. And Kevin Owens is probably winning the tournament. And you can tell that because he had a back and forth thing with Logan Paul. So they're pretty much already teasing that. And, oh, by the way, there was a match. There was a match between Kevin Owens and Grayson Waller. I think he's also in it. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory is in it. But they're both losing, so it doesn't even matter. Kevin Owens had the match with Grayson Waller. Logan Paul was on commentary. Logan Paul called him Otis on a diet. That being Kevin Owens. Just upset people on the internet. Oh, why is he fat shaming Kevin Owens? Oh, God. Yeah.
Because he's fat.
He is.
So, if he didn't want to be shamed, he wouldn't be fat.
Or he doesn't care.
That too.
Because, that dude from Raw named himself Jelly Roll. And he's fat. He's fat.
I just know it has face tattoos. And it's like huge. Yeah.
This is true. He would fancy himself apparently a country singer. Apparently he's big in the country scene. And that shows you why country is terrible.
Right.
I think he won like a Grammy too, or some, I don't know, some award he won for, Artist of the Year in the genre of country. So it just shows you country is trash. I should listen to country. Oh, that's the best you got? Never mind. I don't want to listen anymore.
I bet he's one of them country people that tries to sing like a gospel guy. Oh, gets down in the mud of my cousin's vagina.
Well, I see him as like a rap country guy, like Darius Rucker.
I could see that too. The face tattoos.
Yeah. Clearly, he
Oh,
thinks he's Post Malone,
yeah.
but
Oh, I
fat.
grew up on the streets. I got country in my soul. Fuck you. He's gonna die of a heart.
But yeah, why did I go back to him? Oh, because the fat thing.
To piss me off.
Oh no, because he names himself Jelly Roll and he's fat.
He's fat.
But people got upset because Logan Paul was fat shaming Kevin Owens. Well, there you go. So, but yes, that's where your future United States Championship thing is going. Probably that will be at the Royal Rumble. They now he said it was supposed to be next week, but they also announced that the tribute to the troops is next week. So I don't think it's going to be next week. I think it's going to be the week after because tribute to the troops is not a real show.
All right.
I mean, it is a real. I mean, all the baby faces win. Like, what kind of? It's just like to send the troops home happy. Oh, you got all your baby faces. And so CM Punk's going to be there too.
There you go. So Kari lost to Bianca Belair. Before the match, I think it was before the match, they told Bayley to stay her ass in the back. And then close to the end of the match, Bayley comes out. She takes down Bianca. Kari still doesn't beat her. So it's probably Bayley's fault still.
Yep, because they told her to stay in the back.
Yep. And then Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis could have squashed all this shit like real quick by just kicking Pearce out of the building. But instead, he introduces Orton. Orton comes out, and then Pearce and Aldis, they start arguing like a couple little bitches. And Pearce tells Randy if he signs, he's going to get the winner of Uso and Rollins. McIntyre will love that. And then Aldis tells Randy that if he signs to SmackDown, he gets the bloodline. Heyman interrupts. Heyman says that there ain't going to be any RKOs tonight, and the bloodline is making the decision for him. And Solo Sikoa comes out with Jimmy. Pearce and Aldis, they leave the ring like a couple bitches. Then Jimmy and Solo, they put the boots to Randy. Then LA Knight comes out. Remember him? He comes out. They even the odds. Knight and Solo, they fight to the back. Randy DDTs and RKOs Jimmy. Then after a stare down with Heyman, Randy asks for the contracts from the two bitches on the outside of the ring. And obviously Orton signs the SmackDown contract. Orton says to Heyman that he can call Roman Reigns and let him know that Daddy's back. Then he RKOs Nick Aldis for no reason at all. And the commentators go, "Oh, that's our Randy."
Yep, that's just Randy being Randy.
Yeah, so fucking stupid.
Well, I think now this is probably just me, like, I don't know, wishful thinking, but I think that RKO, yes, it was random, but I think that might lead to a little bit of Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton.
Well, it's Randy's fault.
I know, but that could be the catalyst to get Aldis back in the ring because he hasn't been in the ring yet. So that might be where we're leading there. That little kernel turns into something, and then Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton is upon us.
Oh yeah, that's
But
better.
again, that's just me guessing.
That's better than Aldis versus Rhodes.
It is. I mean, they're going to get there too.
Oh, well, that was SmackDown.
There's more than one path to Rhodes,
No, there's not.
and he's going to be on SmackDown too when he takes on Roman Reigns.
No, he's not. He's going to win the Royal Rumble, so it won't matter.
Ah, is that your early prediction?
Probably.
Cody Rhodes is winning?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. I would say this, looking outside looking in, this is probably the most open that the Royal Rumble has been in a while. You got Cody
Yeah.
Rhodes. Is he going to go back to back? Is CM Punk going to enter the Royal Rumble?
They got LA Knight. They got
LA
Randy
Knight.
Orton. They got
Yeah.
Jay.
My
They got,
pick was Gunther.
yeah, I don't know about Gunther now.
Yeah. Like there's so many different potential winners. Wide open fields. That's gonna be fun.
Yep. It's definitely more exciting than it was because, before Survivor Series, they didn't have anybody. Now they have all these people. Unfortunately, they're all going to feud with the Judgment Day.
Oh, and you got the Judgment Day. Oh, I don't think. Never mind. I wouldn't put anybody in the Judgment Day as a favorite.
Yeah, maybe Priest.
I would say Priest, but he has the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, you got Cody Rhodes. He can win it. Jey Uso. He can win it. Uh, Randy Orton. He can win it. CM Punk. He can win it. So many different paths they can go.
We'll be here for it.
And yes, and don't freak out, everybody, as this will be a clip. Don't freak out because Cody Rhodes can still win the Elimination Chamber and get to Roman Reigns that way. So there's that.
Unless whoever wins the Royal Rumble challenges Roman.
I think they're going to go Rollins. I think there's only one person that is challenging. Now, here's a curveball that can be thrown in because we are building obviously towards Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. What if Mr. Orton is the one to end the reign of Roman Reigns? Since Roman Reigns is hardly there, they want to get the title off of him. They put it on Orton.
I don't see them doing it like that. That's just because they want to get it off Reigns because they allowed him to take fewer days off. I
Well, he
see them,
negotiated it, but
huh?
I said he did negotiate it.
And
But
they still gave it to him. I mean, they could have said no. That's not the point. What I'm saying is that I don't see them just, oh, we don't want to have it. Let's put it on Randy now. It'll be more thought out than that. They're in the bed. They got a lion in it.
true. But it could be a curveball.
It would be a curveball. You're absolutely right.
Because, Randy Orton also just came back. So there's that too. So this is going to be his first big feud since coming back.
Or
I'm not
what
saying
if
he's going to beat Roman. I'm just saying it's possible.
what if CM Punk comes out with the Money in the Bank briefcase? He cashes in.
When's he going to get it?
From Priest.
I don't even know if Punk is going to stay on Raw. He might go to SmackDown.
He's a free agent, I think. Or a flip-flopper.
Yeah, he's a free agent right now. But they might go through the same thing. Oh, we got to get Punk signed. I think he's going to stay on Raw. And this would be for more real purposes. Because, Raw is still trying to get their little contract signed. So if they have CM Punk on the roster, that's going to help whoever is bidding.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that Punk is going to be on Raw.
Yes. I'm just saying, he could go to SmackDown, but
No,
he
he's going to
could
be
go
on
to
Raw,
SmackDown.
and we are one step closer to him being Gunther's number 2.
Sure, that'll be right around the corner.
Yep. But yeah, that is. Oh yeah, and I did bring up that Punk is pretty much the number 1 merchandise seller right now. He's number 1, 2, and 3, according to Wrestle Features.
Yeah, I did see that. Good for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, just coming back. That after 10 years, that's going to be a thing.
Just coming back and speaking for 6 minutes.
I think it was before that. I think it was him walking out there on stage.
Yeah. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. Now, what's even more phenomenal is right behind him is one L.A. Knight. Yeah.
In 4th place.
Really, it's second
Nope,
place.
4th place.
You can't just Punk can't be the top 4. Well, he is the top 4, but he's only one person. So the next person,
yeah, this one person is dominating 3 specific demographic categories, whereas LA Knight only has 1.
Well, let's see. Well, let's see at the end of the year. Let's see at the end of the month. He just came back. LA Knight's gonna fight back.
We'll see what happens. I don't know. LA Knight ain't shit against Punk though. In the ring, on the
Can
microphone.
you imagine that? I'm talking about the mic work.
Oh, Punk would eat him alive.
I think he could cook Punk on the mic, or maybe not cooking, but he can hang with him.
He could barely hang with Miz.
I think he could hang with him, but he did hang with Miz.
Barely.
Oh, by the way, Miz is one of the best persons in the WWE on the mic.
But he's no Punk.
That's why he has a talk show.
He's not Punk though. Miz is a good WWE guy on the mic. Punk is a whole different beast.
Well, this Punk is, you don't know about this Punk yet.
That's true.
PG Punk. Let's see how he handles himself on the mic.
I mean, even PG Punk still kind of threatened and put the entire locker room on notice. See, he has the brass rings in his back pocket.
He did.
So,
but I think LA Knight could hang with him on the mic, and I look forward to finding out.
Yeah,
because at some point they're gonna have to have a mic battle. Maybe they have one. No, they ain't gonna have one. A tribute to the troops. You think the tribute to the troops they're gonna have a mic off?
They might.
Promo battle.
They might.
Because the troops got to get everything they want. Oh, let's do it. Tribute to the troops. I remember when they had Stacy Keibler out there and her little mini skirt bending over for the soldiers. Yeah, that'll send them home happy.
Yep, that's doing God's work right there. What should we talk about? WrestleMania 6.
Yes.
Okay.
We are now moving on to our retro review.
Wrestling Rewind. And it starts off with Vince McMahon giving the best monologue ever. And it's, upon the examination of the galaxies of space, images begin to appear. Images of strange and powerful forces. But of all the forces in the universe, the 2 most powerful, Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, prepare to explode. Champion versus champion, title for title, the ultimate challenge. It's WrestleMania. And Jesse the Body Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon are on commentary, and they both talk about how excited they are, naturally. And then they play a song that sounds like a rabid cat holding a set of keys is thrown into a running blender. So I had to skip past that. And
Was that the anthem?
yeah,
The Canadian anthem?
that nasty, dirty Canadian anthem. Yeah.
Oh, well, that was actually. I mean, he didn't do bad. You skipped. Oh, anyway, I don't know if you were trying to be funny or not. But out of all the singing that happened tonight, you skipped that one. And if you didn't skip the other one, then
First of all,
you
I
know.
don't have to try to be funny, son. Kid. It just comes naturally.
I'm just saying, I didn't know if that was if you were doing a bit or not. But
About the dirty Canadian national anthem?
yeah,
No, it's no bit. Fuck the Canadians.
there you go.
So Cocoa Beaver,
Except for the ones that listen to our show,
of course, they're great, especially if they use our affiliate link located in the description.
Yes, in the description below, right past the like
Yep.
button.
Make sure you keep Punk at number 1, 2, and 3. Get that wrestling fan in your life.
Let's try to get LA Knight back to his rightful spot.
Well, let's keep Punk where he is. I mean, you got to keep the king, on top. LA Knight's a good number 4. There's no shame in it.
He's number 2.
I got a thing that says 4. There's a 4 next to his name.
But it's one name, so then it's actually number 2.
One name, 3 categories.
Okay, let's just talk about one category then.
He's still number 1.
And then now he's number 2.
Nope.
Let's talk about the men category.
He's number 4.
Fuck them kids.
Are you saying women can't be men now? Bigot?
Whoa, what are you talking about? I don't know what you mean by that. I never heard of that. Any kind of those terms.
That's what you just said.
Anyway, this Coco Beware.
Yeah, Coco Beware versus the model Rick Martel. And Undertaker told a story about Coco Beware getting in his face over a match. And it almost got to the point where Undertaker asked him if he wanted to step outside and settle their differences. And I just can't imagine how surreal it would have been to get your ass chewed out by a guy holding a parrot.
Yeah. Is that what that thing is? A parrot?
Yeah. I think so.
I don't know. But what I do know is it stayed on that perch, even though they were like falling right all over it. It didn't even flinch.
It probably had something tied to its leg.
Oh. Well, that's just inhumane.
That's actually probably humane, so it doesn't like fly into a window and break its neck.
True.
So I don't.
Man, that locker room, they got Damien and the parrot.
Yep. Natural
I wonder if
enemies.
they ever. Yeah, I wonder if they ever cross paths.
Well, I don't remember Rick Martel having the Rick James hair.
I mean, these hairs, I would say, I mean, maybe it's just the time, but I think they said this was early 90s. So I don't remember having those big hairs in the 90s.
Yeah, they were huge. Especially Warriors.
Oh my God.
He was all hair.
Yes, he was. It was kind of impressive. But
yeah.
Geez, that hair was out there.
Yeah, there's a point where I'm just like, man, I wonder how long that takes him.
Yeah, I was like, during his promo, I was just mesmerized by it. It's like, look at it. It's just like, there's so many layers and volumes. And
it was during the match because he turned around and then I just saw it. Man. It's like its own entity.
Yeah.
So Martel, he won with a Boston Crab. Coco, he missed a no-look crossbody from the top rope. And that helped him.
So, did he tap out or did he say I quit? Because I didn't catch either of them. It just seems like Martel gets the Boston Crab on, and then the ref immediately calls for the bell.
I thought he tapped out, but I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really paying attention.
Okay.
So Mean Gene, they talks to the Colossal Connection with the Bobby the Brain Heenan. The Colossal Connection is Haku and Andre the Giant, and they are also the tag team champions. And Mean Gene calls them the Colostomy Connection. Then he bickers with Heenan over that. Heenan says Demolition and they're going to get the treatment plant. They're going to the treatment plant, and we know how we're going to treat them. And then Haku and Andre, both in unison, they go, "We're going to eliminate them." And Andre looks like he's really struggling.
Yes, he does.
It's all, it just looks like it hurts to live for him, which I'm sure it does. So some guy talks to Demolition. Axe says they call him Axe because he can chop any redwood down, even if it's 7 feet tall, which I think a redwood is considerably longer or larger than a 7 feet tall. But just before Axe finishes chopping them down, he's going to stand back, look at him, and yell, "Timber!" Smash says, "Well, that's pretty good, but this is what I'm going to do to Andre." And he simply just wants to put Andre and Haku in the back of a truck and drive them off a cliff and then watch them smash into smithereens and die. And the guy's like, "Oh, this is starting to sound like a demolition derby." Axe says, "We're out to demolish and destroy." And Smash says, "The only thing left salvageable will be from that scrap heap will be the metal that they forged their new tag team champion belts out of."
And that's Demolition.
That's Demolition. And we get Colossal Connection versus Demolition. And this was basically a handicap match with Andre grabbing and kicking people from the apron. I guess
he was just there.
What?
He might as well have just been sitting in a chair.
Right. Well, I looked into it, and I guess Andre was too injured at this point to wrestle. So.
Yeah, I remember they were telling a story about that. His back was so gone that pretty much he just had to. He can only just stand out there.
Right. So Andre grabs Smash from behind, and Haku goes for a super kick on Smash, but Smash ducks, and Haku nails Andre instead. And Andre falls backwards and does that thing where his arms are tied up for a while. Then Demolition hit the decapitation on Haku for the win. So after the match, Heenan, he starts screaming on Andre and starts poking his finger in Andre's chest. Andre keeps saying he got kicked in the face. Heenan then loses his mind and slaps Andre. Andre, he snatches Heenan and starts screaming at him. And Andre starts slapping the shit out of Heenan. And then I guess he punches him. I don't know.
He tried.
Yeah. And then I guess he kicked him. And then Haku, he tried another super kick, but Andre catches it, and Haku subsequently gets his ass kicked too. And Andre prevents Heenan and Haku from getting in their cart that goes back to the locker room and say goodbye to Andre the Giant, because this is his last WrestleMania, and it's one of his last matches with the WWF period. And this was WrestleMania 6, which was April 1st, 1990. Andre passed away January 28th, 93. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
So thank you, Andre.
Yeah. Thank you for the memories.
So some guy talks to Earthquake, and Jimmy Hart says every scientist is keeping their eye on their seismograph because they're predicting an earthquake. But the only thing they don't know is what it's going to register on the Richter scale. Earthquake said Hercules is supposed to be mighty and But even the strongest buildings crumble into devastation into the hands of an earthquake. The earthquake shadowed some more about aftershocks and tremors. And I couldn't get over how drenched earthquake was. And he was just kind of staying still, but like bouncing. It was
Yeah.
almost like he was doing this workout. They all did that. They were all fucking standing still, but still bouncing. It was weird.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to be animated, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But
But he was really committed to his character.
I appreciate that we have a guy who thinks he's Hercules facing a guy who thinks he's an earthquake.
Yeah, committed to the character.
Yes.
And I will say, Hercules, he's just been Mr. WrestleMania. He's there every year. Him and
Hercules, Santana.
Bravo or whatever.
Yeah,
Isn't that his
Dino
name? Dino
Bravo.
Bravo.
Uh-huh.
They're just like
I think
mainstays
Duggan's been in
every
every
year.
one of them too.
Yep. Yeah, he
Macho
was
Man
in the
might
Battle
be in every
Royal
one of
second
them.
one.
Yeah.
And Hogan's main evented pretty much everyone. Well, we could
Just,
even say that one where
yeah.
he was in the tournament. He was pretty much the main event because he
Yeah.
helped Macho Man win. So,
and that's all they talked about.
yeah.
It was like
And
after
he still did his 10 minutes worth of posing.
after the Andre match, they like didn't talk about any of the other matches. Oh yeah, there's still a tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're watching it. Hogan's not in it.
Yeah. And they were also saying, you know, as they were talking about it, and we got the rematch that everybody came to see. Well, what about the rest of the tournament?
Right.
What about the rest of the show?
So we have Hercules versus the Earthquake. And it was a typical big man versus big man match. It's actually pretty tame as far as the big men matches go. Like I don't know, they didn't crash into anything. They just kind of ran into each other, try and knock each other down. It was actually looked like Hercules was going to pull it off, but he tries to lift a man twice his size, and it's pretty much all over after that. The Earthquake eventually hits his modified bonsai drop for the win. And yeah, it's weird seeing Hercules being small. And I like how Earthquake would jump in the air and Hercules would pretend he's actually creating little earthquakes. Kind of reminded me of when I would play X-Men during recess. These are my powers.
Yeah, that was a good move, that bonsai drop. I mean, the amount of steam he was picking up to get before he did the jump.
Well, there's that moment where he's just in the middle of the ring and then he just starts jumping.
Yeah.
And then Hercules falls over like, ah. Stupid.
You know, he's an earthquake.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if Earthquake was bleeding or if he was just chewing tobacco. But like I said, it looked like he was covered in various fluids. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, there's a lot of fluid going on there.
Yeah. And he hit a couple bonsai drops after the match. And yeah, Earthquake is this year's King Kong Bundy.
Yeah.
So some lady talks to Miss Elizabeth, and the lady talks about how absolutely gorgeous Elizabeth is, and she wants to know where she's been. Elizabeth says she's been focused on her advisory role, which is away from the spotlight. The lady wants to know why Elizabeth would opt for an office role over standing at ringside and getting drenched in man sweat and spit. Elizabeth says she's better suited behind the scenes. And yeah, this was pointless. Yeah. Except that I don't know why Elizabeth didn't show enough skin.
I don't know. I don't know what this whole thing. Yeah, it just seemed weird.
So some guy talks to Brutus, the barber beefcake, and he wants to know what the beefcake is looking at. And it's Mr. Perfect's record, which is pretty impressive, he admits. Beefcake then says no one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. and he's going to sever Perfect's record at the perfect clip. Which brings us to Mr. Perfect with the Genius versus Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake. And of course, Beefcake is from San Francisco. And the match starts and Perfect fights like a man while Beefcake throws cartoon punches. Monsoon and Ventura said that Perfect hasn't been pinned at this point. And then Beefcake actually kicks Perfect's ass. And I guess Vince has a hard-on for Brutai. So the Genius slides in his steel scroll in for Perfect to use on Beefcake, which he does. And instead of going for the pin, he starts whooping Beefcake for a while. Then Perfect starts pie-facing Beefcake, who then slingshots Perfect into the ring post. And this useless fuck gets the pin and the win.
Yes. Dismantles the perfect record, apparently.
Yes. Beefcake wants to give a haircut to Perfect after the match, but Genius grabs Beefcake's clippers and then walks away very, very, very slowly. Naturally, Beefcake catches him, snatches him, and then beats his ass back to the ring. Perfect leaves. Beefcake then gets Genius in a sleeper hold and then starts cutting his hair. Worst part of all this was Beefcake's shitty little theme music playing the entire time.
Yeah, and it did go on for quite a while.
Yeah. That was done. All right. After that, Mean Gene talks to the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. Did you happen to see this?
I did not. It was not on Peacock.
Was not on Peacock. The pussies, or the fans, or the pussies that are the fans, or WWE, or Peacock, or all three, have decided that we, as fans, are not adult or mature enough to handle the context of this. So what I will say is it's Roddy Piper. Half of his body is painted in black. Now, I know the automatic thing when a Caucasian happens to put a drop of black paint on his skin is to say that he's poking fun of the black folks. That's not it at all. He's showing that he's a different, darker side to him or some shit. He's Two-Face. Now, there are some videos of him clearly doing blackface.
But this wasn't one of them?
This was not one of them. In fact, Brown was the only one that made mention of him being, and he's the only one that made it seem like it was blackface. The commentators didn't. Piper didn't. Mean Gene didn't. Brown was the only one that did.
Well, in that scenario, that would be enough.
Fair enough. So Mean Gene is talking to Hot Rod. And the feud with Bad News Brown started when they continued to fight after a battle royal, I think it was. And later, Bad News Brown told Piper that if he wants to wear a skirt, he better shave his scrawny legs. And Piper, of course, gets pissed off at this. And then Gene says, some folks call him the Hot Rod. Piper says, yeah, but some people call me. Then he reveals his right side, which is painted all black. The Hot Scot. Then he starts dancing. Poorly. Piper says he's a bit of a two-face. While Brown has one face that needs rearranging, then he proceeds to insult the proportions of Brown's eyes, ears, and nose. I guess Brown has a 3-foot-long nose hair. Piper then says he's going to shit in Bad News Brown's mouth. And the only thing Brown doesn't know is if it'll be from Hot Rod or from Hot Scot. See, there's the regular side is Hot Rod. The black side's Hot Scot.
Oh.
So Gene says Brown is going to have to deal with a split personality. Ha 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 ha. Which brings us to Bad News Brown versus Rowdy Roddy Piper. Now, I did leave a couple links for you. Now, if you want to go back and watch it, you can.
Yeah, I'll check them out later.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Piper reveals that the entire right side of um, his body is covered in black paint. His leg, his arm, his face, his chest. The only thing that's not covered in paint, I would presume, is it would be his ass, because that's where the trunks are. So it's not blackface. It's something completely different. The only reason I'm pointing this out is there's no reason for this to have been cut out.
Well, you know, Peacock. There was a big thing when they moved from the WWE Network to Peacock, and Peacock had to go through and make sure everything. They said that there was a lot of stuff that they had to cut out,
which makes me not want to watch shit on Peacock now.
Well, they are the. Never mind.
Yeah.
And I want to join in on the bandwagon.
Yeah, that's fair. Piper and Brown, they start brawling, and then Brown has the advantage. He keeps saying to Piper, "So you want to be black?" And again, that's the only time it's contextualized racially, is when Brown is shouting that to him. And Brown pulls off the turnbuckle pad at one point, but he gets thrown into it himself. Piper takes the opportunity to pull out a white glove out of his crotch. So, Bad News Brown has the black glove.
Yeah.
So Piper, on his black side, he takes out a white glove and he puts it on his black hand.
So many colors here.
Yeah. So they both go outside the ring, and the match ends in a double countout. And then they fight their way back to the locker room while security tries to separate them. And I can't tell you how pissed off I am that I had to go out of my way to find this nothing match because of some sandy vaginas that think that they should be able to tell me what I can and can't watch. But that's it.
Well, it's their house. If they don't want it, they don't want it.
Yeah, but they didn't cut out Ventura talking about Santino's burritos and tacos. They didn't cut out the joke they had about Pee Wee Herman being straight. Those were actually like, I could see those being offensive to those fucking pussies. This, again, Bad News Brown was the only one that mentioned it. Like, you know how there's the things where white people they're making fun of black people, but they're doing it in a way where no, we're just joking around. It wasn't like that. This was Roddy Piper being a two-face, and it just so happened to be black paint. If it was any other color, it would have been the same thing.
Well, I mean, times have changed, so they don't want it on their platform. Now,
yeah, times have changed, which
they didn't say
means
the
that
other
if
things.
the fuckers should be consistent. If they're going to be pussies about some guy in a non-racially way wearing black face paint or body paint, which, for the record, that would take forever to get off. But not take out the taco talk, the anti-Mexican talk, and the gay slur with fucking Pee Wee Herman. It's just not consistent. Oh, and Sapphire, she should have just been taken out.
She should have been off.
Sapphire was doing blackface more than Roddy Piper was.
She was doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. I just wanted to point that out because I remember watching the match a long time ago and thinking nothing of it. I just remember I remember thinking exactly what I think of it right now. Like I could have watched it or not watched it, and I would have been just fine. But over the years, you hear well, he was in blackface and he was really racist to Bad News Brown at that point in time. So I'm thinking, well, maybe did I block something out? Did I miss something? My young eyes and ears. Is there just a detail that I overlooked? No. Now again, when I was when I was looking for this match, there are videos of Roddy Piper clearly doing blackface. Sort of. I mean, he's doing the half face paint thing, but he's turning the black side to the camera and pretending to be Bad News Brown.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Well, that's Roddy Piper.
yeah.
He had no filter.
That I could see being questionable, but this okay. Again, let's move on. Spent too much time on Roddy Piper in this fucking match. Some guy on piano, he keeps fucking the Russian anthem up with the Bolsheviks. They're in a shower. This was stupid.
Nothing to add there.
All right. Heart Foundation versus the Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks, and it's Nikolai and Boris Volkov. And they sing the Russian national anthem. Heart Foundation attack them during. They beat the Bolsheviks up, then hit their heart attack for the win. Russians didn't even get their jackets off.
Nope. So it was a bona fide squash match.
Sure as shit was.
Heart attacks. Thanks for coming.
Mean Gene chats with Tino Santana. Santana says he has to keep both eyes on Heenan and the Barbarian. Arriba! The Barbarian with Bobby Heenan versus Tito Santana is next. Tito hit his flying forearm, and Heenan Heenan hits his flying forearm. God damn it! Tito hits his flying forearm, and Heenan puts Barbarian's foot on the ropes. Barbarian wins with a clothesline from the top rope. I think it's funny that they felt it necessary to cut out an entire match over black paint, but didn't. Oh, I already talked about that. Sorry.
Yeah. But boy, did he nail the clothesline. Barbarian.
Yeah, that was cool.
And he
But
was I think he was the first one to come out with no music too. Well, the
no, Bad News Brown was.
Oh, well. On my string.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm looking back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I guess, yeah, for you it would have been Barbarian. So some guy talks to Dusty Rhodes and his tag team partner, Sapphire. Dusty and Macho Man, they're feuding. And so is Sapphire and Sensational Sherry, or whatever her nickname is this week. Dusty corrects the guy and says, "Oh, no, 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 baby. It's Sweet Sapphire. And you ain't gonna see us pretend to be no king and queen. Oh, no, daddy." And Sapphire says, "Mammy." I mean, she says, "Because there ain't no king and queen no more there, baby." And Dusty says, Macho Man and Sherry are missing what Dusty and Sweet Sapphire have, and that's the crown jewel, baby.
Was that Cody Rhodes' mom? Just kidding. I know it's not.
So Macho Man and Sherry versus Dusty Rhodes and Sweet Sapphire. Dusty tells us that the crown jewel he was talking about earlier is none other than Miss Elizabeth. And Savage and Sherry are all kinds of pissed off. And immediately after Ventura tells us that you won't see the men and the women going against each other, Sherry hits Dusty from behind. Ventura said he didn't understand why men couldn't hit the women due to the, women's movement and all that stuff, which I thought was kind of funny. Dusty tosses Savage into Sherry, then snatches her and throws her into the ring so Sweet Sapphire can knock her over and over again with her hips, and then do a airplane spin. I don't think Sweet Sapphire was trained. Just a guess.
Who was? I mean,
I didn't even bother to look.
Yeah, I don't know. She was not good.
No.
And boy, was Ventura going in on her.
Can you blame him?
He's like, Gorilla Monsoon, have you heard of that Slim Fast? Maybe Sapphire should get on that. She's so fat. She's just, and he kept, like, they would show her on the camera. He's like, she's disgusting to look at. It's like, oh, well, different times. Imagine him, being in today's wrestling and then having to see Nia Jackson, Piper Niven. He would have a heart attack. Oh, and just to step back a little bit real quick, when Dusty and Sapphire were coming out and they were billed at 450 pounds, and he's like, wait a minute, Monsoon. You mean to tell me that Dusty is only getting billed at 200 pounds? Because Sapphire goes for 250. So yeah, he was on her the whole match.
So, I guess she was just Dusty's valet in WWF. Then she had like an appearance in some United States Wrestling Association with she participated in a feud with Jerry Lawler. She died.
Well, rest in peace.
Yeah, apparently Sherry used to yell at her and make her cry because she sucked.
I can see that. And I can also see that Sherry was pretty underrated with, the looks.
Martel?
What?
Sherry Martel?
I don't know. The Sherry that was
yeah.
in the ring in this match, yes.
I don't know, man. She looked a little.
Well, I mean, below
the closer you got to her,
I'm saying below the neck.
Okay, yeah. Although she does look like she would teach you some things.
Yeah.
She'd turn you into a man real quick. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Sapphire.
This abomination of a match.
So Dusty chases Sherry out of the ring with threats of whooping her ass. Then he grabs Savage so Sapphire can slap him repeatedly. Then Dusty shoves Sherry into the corner, like just full on shoves her. Savage tosses Sweet Sapphire onto the ground after yelling at her, or telling her to get out of the way. And that was supposed to be a dastardly move, but Dusty's been all over Sherry this whole match.
He was, and he was grabbing the hell out of her hair too.
Yeah. Savage hits Dusty with a scepter, and then Sherry does a splash. And I thought it was for the win, but Dusty kicks out. Because nope, baby. Ain't no way some fucking cunts could have pinned the Dream, baby. Sapphire and Sherry, they get into a cat fight. Sapphire throws Sherry out of the ring. Then Miss Elizabeth picks Sherry's ass back up and tosses her in for more. Sherry starts screaming at Elizabeth. Sapphire ducks behind Sherry. Elizabeth grabs Sherry, then pushes her. So she trips over Sapphire, who covers Sherry up for the win. I don't know if the people involved in this match like know what the word interact means. But this wasn't it.
Well,
Savage put
they did say, well, this is the first time this match has ever happened. You can't expect them to know all the rules.
I guess. I would expect them to know what interact means. Or
Yeah.
or you two can only fight you two.
What I'm saying, when you get it, maybe they only got the rules beforehand, and then you get out there and then you forget it all.
The danglers can only fight the danglers and the holes can only fight the holes. How hard is that to you don't need a rule book for that. That's basic shit.
But it was the first ever time.
And that's a simple ass rule to know.
Just like last week when we were talking about the Doomsday match, and they forgot the rules themselves because the rules were laid out beforehand, and then 10 minutes into the match, the rules changed. And then it was
Right.
just like, well, now they're just
But the rules didn't change for
wrestling.
this one. It was the men are supposed to fight the men and the ladies are supposed to fight the ladies. That's it. That was the only rules.
I'm just saying the wrestlers didn't understand the rules.
And that's just like that's like somebody that's never played cards before, and you tell somebody, "Oh, what do you just don't show your cards to people." That's the only thing you need to know.
Well, if they forgot, they forgot.
Well, Savage puts on his crown. He starts shouting from outside the ring. Then Dusty, Sapphire, and Elizabeth, they all dance. And I'm left wondering what the fuck I just watched.
It was definitely something.
Mean Gene talks to Bobby Heenan, and Bobby Heenan is drenched in sweat, but still manages to berate Andre. Says he's starting a new family and that we'll never hear from Andre again. Monsoon and Ventura, they talk to some bitch. The lady says she found Ventura's gay porno. Ventura quickly moves on to a new subject. Some guy talks to Savage and Sherry. Macho Man says suffering builds character. He's not done with Dusty. And the crown jewel doesn't exist. Sherry is screaming at the top of her lungs in the background. Then Mean Gene, this was all like in rapid succession. It's like they all like had to catch up with the ones they missed.
Yeah, it's like a good I don't know, 20, 30 minutes of just straight
Back to
backstage
back.
stuff.
Yeah. So Gene talks to Demolition, Axe and Smash. They're happy. They're new tag champions and they're ready for the Hart Foundation.
And I am sad that I won't get to see that match because I know it's not going to make it to next WrestleMania. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll go watch that.
Why
But
is
it
it
would
not?
have to be at a pay-per-view.
Why is it not making it to next WrestleMania?
Well, because they were the number one contenders, the Hart Foundation.
Oh,
So that means it would have to happen probably.
yeah, they ain't gonna wait a whole year. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, after that, Mean Gene talks to Hulk Hogan. Hogan says he's ready for the ultimate challenge, and when he flew over the U.S. border, he saw the site of the challenge, and there has been nothing but love and support from the Hulkamaniacs. Hogan says the energy is all his power. Wait, the energy is all his, and the power of the Hulkamaniacs is in the palm of his hand. Because he literally points to the palm of his hand. And once Hogan gets Warrior down on his knees, he's going to ask Warrior, do you want to live forever? And if Warrior's answer is yes, then he needs to breathe his last breath into Hogan's body because Hogan claims he can save Warrior. Hogan needs to prove to his Hulkamaniacs that it doesn't matter if you win or lose, only how you handle winning or losing. But he hopes that Warrior is a good loser. What you gonna do? So after that, some guy talks to the Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior says the guy isn't fit to breathe the same air as he and Hogan do, and Warrior kicks him out. So the guy that's trying to interview him, he says he's not fit to breathe the same air as me or Hogan. Leave. Warrior asks Hogan if he wants his ideas and what he believes in to live forever, because physically no one can live forever. Warrior says he has come to take over Hulkamania because there are those that have questioned where Hogan has taken them. Warrior says the darkness he embraces is nothing to fear. It means accepting all challenges at the cost of losing everything. Warrior's going to take Hulkamania further than Hogan has ever taken it and bring the Warriors and the Hulkamaniacs together as one. The colors of the Hulkamaniacs come out of his pores, and when they meet, Hogan will realize that he will cause no harm, and he will cause no harm, but take what they both believe in to great places. And yeah, that was a lot of shit.
Yeah, between those two promos, it was just, I was like, good. First of all, I thought Hogan, I didn't think he was going to go off the rails, but thankfully he did.
He was pretty tame, though.
Yeah, I was like, oh, a Hogan promo. Let's see if he's going to go, how far he goes off the rails this time.
Because he saved Donald Trump's life like 2 years in a row. This time he crossed the border and saw everybody that loved him.
Yeah. But he was going to save the Warrior, because if he wants to live forever, he has to
breathe his last
breathe.
breath into him, which sounds pretty mysterious to me.
Yeah. And then, not to be outdone by the Warrior, talking about he just wants to combine the Warriors and the Hulkamaniacs. And he's like clasping his hands together and then bringing them.
Well,
like, what are you talking about?
My favorite part about his promo is he kept saying, "And you, Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan, I will bring the Warriors, Hulk Hogan." Couldn't say Hogan.
Yeah, and it was funny that he just kicked the dude out the room.
Yeah.
like, is he? I didn't know who the heel. So from what I remember, and this is like the WrestleMania that brought me in, by the way.
Yeah.
I remember it being face versus face, but he's kicking people out of the room, and it's like, was this a heel versus face?
They both kind of walked that heel line.
Oh yeah.
But the Orient Express faced the Rockers. Orient Express won via countout after throwing salt in Jannetty's eyes. I thought Fuji occasionally whacking Jannetty with the cane was the best part of the match. And Shawn Michaels is 0 for 2.
That match was a kind of a miss for me.
Yeah.
I think it's because they did all the promo stuff. Then now we're getting back to the wrestling. So it's just like, took me a second to have to get into the wrestling.
Well, for me, this was like a whole bunch of people I don't know. Just wrestling.
Oh, there's that too.
And even the people I don't know, like Mr. Perfect lost to fucking Brutus the Barber Beefcake. What era is that acceptable?
None. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to rant about this. I was like, wait a minute, this is the past. Why would I rant about it now?
The piano fucker talks to Rhythm and Blues. Honky Tonk Man says the piano guy wants to listen to their new song. Guy says he hasn't been this excited since finding out Pee Wee Herman was straight. How out of place did Valentine look?
Very, 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 very.
So Dino Bravo with Jimmy Hart and Earthquake faced Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I think the Canadian crowd booed the shit out of Duggan.
I didn't hear them boo, but he wasn't helping things trying to get the crowd to chant USA.
Yeah. Well,
The Canadian crowd to chant USA.
I felt like they were kind of fickle. I felt like they were booing him when he was doing the USA thing, but they still hoed and cheer. I don't know. It was weird.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying though. He was like trying to get a USA chant.
Right.
USA. It's like, do you know where you are? But that's Duggan. He doesn't care.
Nope. And this was actually a nice little match. It wasn't too long, wasn't very offensive. There was no sapphires. It ends after Hart tries to throw the 2x4 to Bravo while Earthquake distracts the ref. Duggan beats Bravo to the 2x4, then nails him in the back of the head with it for the win. Earthquake, Hart, and Bravo, they beat Duggan's ass after the match, and then Earthquake hits Duggan with his 2 bonsai drops, and then they leave him lying. And I liked it.
They got even.
Duggan's starting to grow on me more and more. Little goof. I just want to tussle his hair.
Give him a noogie.
Yeah. Oh, come here, you little scamp. Next up is the $1 Million Man versus Jake the Snake. Oh, wait, no. Next is Mean Gene talking to Jake the Snake. Jake says the biggest match of DiBiase's career because his belt's on the line. And because DiBiase is an asshole with money, Jake is going to make him beg for his own shit back. And this is the promo where he talks about avarice and stuff. It's supposed to be one of his big ones.
Yeah, he talks about $1 Million Man not giving his money to people who can use it to survive and stuff.
Right.
Well, it's his money. He can do what he wants with
Exactly.
it.
He earned it. He worked really hard for it. If he just gave his money away, then he wouldn't have any money to give away.
Yeah.
So that makes no sense, Jake. Why don't you sell your snake?
Oh, you can't do that.
Why don't you give your snake to people that can eat it? Yeah? Why don't you start being part of the solution, Jake, instead of part of the problem?
Nasty. I don't know how low in my life I'd have to be to eat a snake.
Apparently, it's quite common.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like one of the things on the list I wouldn't be too keen to want to try. I mean, I guess if I went, even if I went to somewhere where it's like, because I know in like the, overseas, they just eat it like it's chicken. But come on, it's like I think I'll pass on the snake. You got anything else? I would have to become one of them vegans.
$1 Million Man versus Jake the Snake Roberts. And we finally get the theme song. Money, 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 money. Everybody's got a price. Ha! Jake's theme was still better.
I don't know about that. $1 Million Man's theme was top notch.
Yeah, but so is Jake's. It's like 80s horror. Weird.
But we did have the theme songs were there.
Yes. So Jake has Ted in an arm lock, and he's screaming at DiBiase to tell the ref to give up. Tell him you give up. Come on, Ted. And Virgil looks like he can kick both Jake and Ted DiBiase's ass. His guns are bigger than they were last year. And I thought this was a great match. And it's a great match, and these worthless Canadians are doing a wave. Just completely distracting everything.
I didn't pay attention to them.
Oh, they even called it
Well,
out. Oh, they're
at
doing
that
a
point.
wave, Monsoon.
Oh, I must have missed it.
DiBiase, he hits a $1 million dream, but Roberts fights his way to get his foot on the ropes. Then Roberts hits a short arm clothesline. He signals for the DDT, but then DiBiase grabs the ref's leg by the bottom ropes. Then Jake goes to snatch DiBiase. Then Virgil pulls Roberts out of the ring. Naturally, Roberts goes after Virgil, and then DiBiase gets Roberts in the $1 million dream just as his back is turned. As Jake passes out, he dives into the ring post, sending DiBiase's face right into it. Virgil, he picks up DiBiase and rolls him into the ring just as the ref counts to 10. So, $1 Million Man wins by countout. And like I said, it was a great match. DiBiase could have won with the pile driver earlier, I thought, but his arrogance fucked him. I like how Jake went for the DDT multiple times earlier in the match just to show that he can end the fucking thing whenever he wants to, however he wants to. So as DiBiase and Virgil are celebrating, Roberts recovers and he grabs his snake bag. Virgil immediately runs off with the $1 million belt, and Roberts hits DiBiase with the DDT. Jake almost causes a riot by passing out DiBiase's money into the crowd. I saw two fans kind of starting to tussle over it.
Yeah, there was a dude next to a lady, and the money dropped on the ground, and he like out grabbed, and they were fighting for her.
It would have been funny if he socked her.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you are not getting this, lady.
So Jake stuffs a $100 bill in DiBiase's mouth, grabs his snake. Then Virgil comes running out and grabs DiBiase. Then Roberts chases both men out with the snake draped over his shoulders. And that's it.
That is it. $1 Million Man retains the $1 Million Championship, which is his.
Right.
Know, and it's not a recognized title. So
right. So what did he lose?
Well, he put it up in the match, so he defended it.
Well, some dude talks to Akeem and Slick. The dude says Boss Man refused a bribe, but Slick says money is what it's all about, and Boss Man has a $5,000 bounty. And boy, has Slick come a long way out of his shell.
Yeah, this was the most talking he's ever done.
Right. Akeem says the two things in this world that don't last very long are dogs that chase cars and law enforcement officials that won't take the money. Mean Gene talks to Big Boss Man. Boss Man says DiBiase's scum, and you don't take money from no one, no matter how poor of a piece of shit he is. Boss Man's proud to stand on his own, proud to be an American. Then we get Akeem versus the Big Boss Man. And we find out that DiBiase is hiding under the ring as Boss Man comes out and he attacks him. And then DiBiase tosses Boss Man in the ring and he starts getting pummeled by Akeem. Bossman recovers. He hits the worst atomic drop I've ever seen in my life and gets some offense in before hitting the Big Boss Man slam for the win. And then Boss Man slugs Slick after the match. And just a note, the only time the bell rang was after the pin.
Oh, there was no starting bell.
No, it was really weird.
Hmm.
The dude talked in the crowd. I skipped all that.
Was that the attendance record?
Sure, I don't know.
No, this would have been Howard Finkel did the attendance record later, but oh no, kids. By the way, he was asking the kids, were they ready to hear Honky Tonk Man's new song?
Oh, okay.
And then if they knew the name, which is Honka 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 Hunky Love. So yeah.
All right. Well, Rhythm and Blues is next, and they come out in a pink Cadillac with some bitches that are way too old to be playing the parts that they're playing. And Honky Tonk Man calls them the Honkettes. Or Honkyettes. No, Honkettes. Honky Tonk Man sings his song while Valentine awkwardly holds his guitar and pretends to do the solo occasionally and off time. Then the Bushwhackers appear at ringside. They're selling merchandise, but they chase everyone off after Honky Tonk Man calls them out, and then the Bushwhackers destroy the guitars. And this was stupid too.
Don't forget that they let the whole song get done.
They did.
The whole song got performed before the Bushwhackers interrupted.
Yes.
It was only when Honky Tonk said, "Oh, let's do an encore," that they came out.
Right.
Yeah, but it was bad. Um, I don't think he could hear the music. To give him credit here, a little bit of some. I don't think he could hear the music because he was way off note,
I just,
or maybe that was the shtick. It was supposed to be that bad.
well, I'm sure there's some element to that. Well, we get, spend my days on the go.
Oh yeah, so that was a good one.
Yeah. So after that is Ravishing Rick Rude versus Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And the piano asshole was on commentary, so I watched this match on mute. Snuka tries to go for a splash. He misses. He gets hit with the Rude Awakening. And Snuka looked a lot better at WrestleMania 1. It's scary.
I don't know. I thought he looked pretty good there, like shape wise. Thought he looked pretty good.
Okay.
Rick Rude kind of won out of nowhere though, just like Rude Awakening. Thanks for coming. It's kind of, and he won clean too.
Yeah,
Which
he sure
is
did.
also kind of weird. But it seems like, yeah, Rick Rude is one of those guys getting pushed. They're high on him, I can tell.
I think he feuds with Warrior with his title run.
Oh. Well, I know he wins the Intercontinental title from the Warrior.
Yeah, he pinned him.
Yeah. So, yeah, see, they're big on him.
Well, finally, we are at The Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. And they recapped how it all started. And it starts with Hogan and Warrior. They're at Royal Rumble. They're the last two men standing. And they run into each other a few times. Then they start crisscrossing. And then they clothesline each other. Next time we see them, they're victorious at a Saturday Night Main Event taping. And Mr. Perfect and Lanny Poffo attack both of them from behind. And then Warrior, he turns around and clotheslines Hogan. Warrior then violently flails his arms and then starts pawing at Hogan and slapping him in the face. I guess that's how he checks on people.
Yeah, slapping him.
Hogan saves Warrior at the main event. Earthquake is about to sit on Warrior from the top rope, but Hogan comes out and fights Earthquake off. Warrior gets up and he's all pissed off that Hogan saved him from suffering and internal injuries, and basically, I don't need your help. Then Warrior saves Hogan at Superstars. Earthquake, he does his little bonsai drop to Hogan, and he's about to go for it again, but then Warrior comes running out and he chases Earthquake off. Warrior checks on Hogan, but Hogan keeps slapping his hand away. Then Warrior just starts running back and forth on the ropes like an autist, while Hogan, like a dumbass, just like stumbles in his way. Warrior, he goes for a clothesline, but stops. Hogan then turns around to see Warrior with his arm raised, and things start to get interesting. Then Warrior hits the ropes and runs out of the ring.
Yes, runs to the back.
Yeah, and I didn't know Warrior was on the spectrum, but now I do.
There you go.
Hogan starts off with the stare down while the Warrior makes an exorcist face. Then they both do the feats of strength where they end up proving that they're just evenly matched. Then they do the crossfade or crisscross thing, just like at the Royal Rumble. And Hogan hits a scoop slam, but Warrior doesn't feel a thing and immediately gets up. Then they crisscross again. Warrior hits a scoop slam, and Hogan is in trouble. I missed my place. Hold on. Hogan is in trouble. And yeah, I'm not sure what the purpose of the whole crisscross thing was. In fact, it looked really stupid. But so
Yeah,
Warrior knocks out Hogan out of the ring, and that fucks up Hogan's knee. Hogan's writhing around on the ground in pain. And then Warrior gets out of the ring and just starts kicking Hogan in the knee. Then he says, fuck this, and picks Hogan's ass up and throws him back into the ring. Hogan starts kicking Hogan's knee repeatedly. Then they just start raking each other in the eyes, just trading eye rakes.
yes, they did.
Warrior starts choking Hogan, and the ref separates them, which Hogan uses to get the advantage. Hogan does a couple elbow drops, which looked weird. Hogan locks in a chin lock, but Warrior fights out of it. Then they both clothesline each other. Then Warrior's up, and it looks like Hogan is really in trouble. And he gets superplexed, and then Warrior slaps a bear hug on him. Hogan fights out of the bear hug. Then Warrior runs into the ref, and the ref is down forever. Then Warrior goes full autismo into the ropes, and Hogan tosses him into the mat. Hogan then looks at the referee, puts his arms up like, oh, what am I going to do? Then he goes for the pin like an idiot after staring directly at this motionless referee. Warrior later does the same thing, and they both just look stupid.
Well, he had to
Warrior,
get his pin back. The Warrior.
I guess. He did get his pin back.
Well, because Hogan pinned him, so then he had to get his pin back. So now we're back even.
Warrior hits his gorilla press slam and backsplash. Hogan kicks out at 2.5. Then he starts hulking up. Hogan does his thing. He hits his big boot. Then he goes for the leg drop, and he misses. Warrior uses the mistake to hit another splash, and he gets the win. Hogan cries out to the heavens while Warrior celebrates. Hogan gets out of the ring, snatches his belt, and he hands it to Warrior with tears in his eyes. Then both men embrace. WrestleMania ends with Warrior posing with the belts and Hogan walking away. Warrior posing with the belts and Hogan's walking away. Hogan's walking away and in disappointment and almost falling over when his cart started. Yeah, his cart started and he almost fell over. It was funny. And boy, did they make Warrior winning a big ass deal with all the fireworks and stuff.
Yeah, and they were in some weird parts of his music where it wasn't like the normal sounding part.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was a hard one to get through, but that was probably the best main event of a WrestleMania so far.
Yeah, just when I thought that this WrestleMania was going to be like one of the worst, I was going to have to rank it down with WrestleMania 1.
Right.
They put this main event on and totally redeemed themselves.
Well, I thought
Like, I don't
DiBiase.
don't talk to me about the work rates and the triple Canadian destroyers. This was just two men, two massive men slapping meat, getting powers from the the warriors and the Hulkamaniacs. They couldn't get advantage over one another. Like, they were so evenly matched. It was just pure greatness. And there wasn't any, flips and flops. So we're going to point that out. There was no flips and flops. There was story. There was, Hogan selling his leg. That's the story. There's just straight up eye poking. Like, they were just going back and forth, poking each other's eyes. There was a Hulk up. There was the Warrior up. I don't know. I forgot what he called this thing. And he's like, don't, Gorilla Monsoon, oh, don't let him get it to the ropes. That's where he get his powers.
The power of the Warrior.
Yeah. And then he got to the rope, starts shaking the other one. Uh-oh, he's getting up to the top rope. Oh, you're in trouble now, Hulk. I was like overly invested in this match.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're not about to do a feat of strength. Yes, they are. And then, it had to be evenly matched there.
Yeah, this match and the Roberts and DiBiase match saved the whole pay-per-views for me. I did like the Duggan match.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did like a lot of the matches, but there was just those things that happened, like the Honky Tonk Man performance.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the guy making the bad jokes,
The first half.
the crowd talking to the crowd, and then you got the kid. I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what his new song is? I don't care.
Nothing.
But yeah, ups and downs, but the main event saved it to be something. And like I said, this was the one that pulled me in, so maybe that's just a nostalgia thing for me, but I was totally invested in that main event. Even though I knew who was going to win.
Yeah, it was too. And knowing the outcome didn't change anything for me.
Yeah, there were a little different things that I didn't remember or misremembered. Like, for some reason, I thought they wrestled for an hour when I was a kid. I remember telling people, "Oh, it was they wrestled for 1 hour."
Like I could see how it would seem that way.
Yeah. So I don't know where I got that from, but everything else was just spot on, and they didn't have to flip and flop.
No, they did not. But that is WrestleMania 6. And Warrior is our new champion. Side note, this is I believe, Jesse the Body Ventura's last WrestleMania. So
Oh,
there's a kind of an end of an era there. I'm sure there's others that I don't think Dusty comes back to WrestleMania, which might be a good thing.
it's not him. It's Sapphire.
Well,
Don't bring her.
she ain't going nowhere. But overall, good pay per view. Yeah.
Yep. And next two pay per views are Super Brawl '96 for WCW, and then we have WrestleMania 7, which auto played, so I already know it's Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I was thinking, now I remember Hogan versus Zeus. Like, which one is that? Like, I thought that was one of the earlier WrestleManias. Because, 10, that's when we get to, like, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon. And I think Lawrence Taylor was on that one. So it's got to be 9.
Was it a WrestleMania though?
I thought it was. Well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe that's just how I misremember it.
That was like a Survivor Series or something.
Okay. Just another kid memory thing there. But on that note, if you, well, do we have any stories that we didn't cover?
I don't think so. I think I got them all. But go ahead and double check.
I'm looking. Oh,
Yeah, he was at SummerSlam Survivor Series and a Royal Rumble. His final WWF appearance was a promotional spot for the '90 Royal Rumble.
okay. So again, probably just misremembering it there. Well, that's okay. So then I don't remember what 9 is, but we'll find out in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is. But yeah, just some little quick hit stories to go over. Um,
Did you say you don't know what WrestleMania 9 is?
yeah, I don't remember what 9 was.
That's the one where Yokozuna and Bret Hart wrestled, and Fuji got the salt in Bret Hart's eyes. So then he asked Hogan to win for him. So Hogan beat
Oh,
Yokozuna.
oh yeah, the double match.
Yeah, and this scarred Bret Hart forever.
Okay, there we go. So we're about to get into some interesting WrestleManias. Just some quick hit stories. Number 1, Nia Jax, she buried AEW. Did you go over that already?
I did not.
So basically, she was doing an interview. She buried AEW. She said that Ronda Rousey just got sent to a whole lesser company, and she gives Shayna Baszler credit for that. So there's that. I know
Ronda
you
did.
love. Go ahead.
Ronda did kind of put the kibosh on a potential AEW run.
She did. She said she's not going to AEW. She's
Yeah.
going to be a full-time mom, but didn't stop Nia Jax from saying what she said. So there's just a quick hitter note. And then the other quick hitter, Ariel Hawani, he finds himself in, I wouldn't say real hot water, it's just like fan hot water. So he had Daniel Cormier on his MMA Power Hour or MMA Hour podcast thing or show, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking to Cormier. Cormier said that, I know we got CM Punk back, but maybe we get Sasha Banks back at the Royal Rumble, which is picking up some steam, by the way. her coming back at the Royal Rumble. And then Ariel Hawani, he replies, "Who cares?" Uh, Cormier, he's like, "Oh, uh, no." So Ariel Hawani's like to the Sasha Banks, he's like, "Nah, who cares?" Cormier, he says, "Oh, I know why you don't care," which I didn't get that reference, but that's what he said. And then Ariel said, "I mean, we got CM Punk back. He's the best in the world. What has Sasha Banks ever done?" And then Cormier says, "She's won every title, every championship in the company. Like, she's the best."
There's only one
So,
championship she can win.
well, she won the tag team, she won
Oh,
the
okay, 2.
Raw and SmackDown,
Okay. Yeah,
um,
which is the same thing.
NXT. Like, she's the crippled, or she's a Grand Slam champion or whatever. So, yeah, he says, she's won everything. She's one of the best. So, but yeah, that's what got Ariel Helwani in trouble with the fans, at least. Oh, how can you say who cares about Sasha Banks coming back? Well, he is he doesn't see it as a big deal. Again, I don't know what happened between them that it's like, oh, I know why you don't want her back. But
Maybe she refused to answer his questions too.
yeah. It just seemed like it was out of place that he would just like, brush over that. But she is kind of teasing something. Bailey's kind of teasing something. So it is possible that she comes back to the Royal Rumble. I guess all the fans are holding out hope because we got CM Punk back. Like, and that's the typical fan. Like, we get CM Punk back, no more than like a few hours later. Oh, are we gonna get Sasha Banks back next? Like, golly, can't you just take in that you got CM Punk back? Why are you already moving on to someone else?
I don't know why you'd want Sasha back.
There you go. That's why we brought this up, because I know you were gonna.
No.
That's you see these two stories that I put out there. I knew you were gonna do it, so that's why we brought it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, who gives a shit? Sasha has been in AEW, and she's supposed to be making a name for herself, and she's done dick. Maybe that's not her fault.
She's not. Yeah.
She was in New Japan. She made that big signing, and aside from the splash of her having that signing, she hasn't done dick. I think she's been hurt. So again, it might not all be her fault, but she's not. She didn't leave and become a bigger name like Cody Rhodes did.
That's true.
So at this
But yeah,
point,
she also hasn't had time. She had that one match with Kairi Sane, and then I think that was at Wrestle Kingdom, and then yeah, she got hurt shortly after. So it's pretty much been on the shelf since then.
yeah.
So, but
So
she posted that she's taking bumps in the ring, so she's close to coming back. And I even
oh boy,
I replied, "Royal Rumble?" question mark. Got a little bit of steam on that. So
she'll say, "Oh, you go buy my book. Buy my books to get the answer to that."
nah, she's gonna say, "We're gonna give you the exclusive. Send me send me the link so I can jump on with you guys."
There'll be an hour and a half of me just berating her,
And then I'll just sit innocent bystander. Well,
yeah.
I guess that's the last time she'll ever come on.
That would actually be worthwhile having cameras, just so just the visual of you just having your hand in your head, just like, oh god,
Just like rubbing my forehead the whole time,
like, oh
shaking.
man, just wincing every now and then, like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the like eyebrow. I didn't think he was gonna go there, but he did. But I think that's gonna do it for the show. If you disagree with anything, let us know in the comments. If you agree with anything, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Have a good night.
the person's gone, so no direct shout out there. So yes. And until next time, top guys out.